The natural world is full of wonders and horrors, of unparalleled beauty and dangers that defy comprehension. But the world built by man, oh, this one also holds its own mysteries. Have you ever come across crimes that seemed solved, closed cases that suddenly take a completely different turn? Today we're going to dive into a dark side of human nature, exploring 10 sinister crimes that hide unbelievable twists. Let's begin. In 1986, in the American state of Indiana, a young woman named Denise Flum vanished without a trace. Years turned into decades, and the Denise Flum case remained a cruel and silent mystery. Then, like a bolt from the blue, 34 years later, a man named Sean McClung confessed to the crime. As investigators worked hard to find evidence that supported McClung's confession, he died mysteriously. To this day, the Denise Flum case remains unsolved, a cruel reminder that sometimes the answers we seek are lost in the mists of time. Argentina, with its huge landscapes and complicated history, was the scene of a crime that shocked the nation. A detective in charge of investigating the brutal murder of a colleague found himself facing a terrible dilemma. With every clue he uncovered, with every step he took toward the truth, he got dangerously closer to himself. The detective, supposedly a guardian of the law, was a wolf in sheep's clothing. The revelation of his guilt caused a wave of shock and disbelief. In 1994 in the United States, a young woman named Lori Ruff disappeared without a trace. Lori was presumed dead, another victim of life's unpredictability. Years later, the police discovered that Lori Ruff never existed. The woman everyone thought was Lori was in fact living under a fake identity, stolen from a child who had died years earlier. The real identity of the fake Lori remains a mystery to this day, a reminder that truth can be stranger and more complex than fiction. In the United Kingdom, a strange case challenged the court system and what we understand about people. A man was accused of murder, a terrible crime that shocked the community. But the man said he didn't remember anything. His mind was blank, like he had amnesia. All the evidence pointed to the man, but how could they punish someone for a crime they didn't remember doing? The case reminds us that the human mind is complicated, like a maze. Sometimes the truth can be hidden in the deepest, darkest parts of our memory. Back in the 1990s, a man was convicted of murdering his wife. The evidence seemed rock solid. A body was found, identified as his wife, and the husband became the prime suspect. Years later, the supposed victim reappeared, alive and well. The man, who was serving time for a crime that never happened, was finally released. If the woman who reappeared wasn't the victim, then who was the body found years ago? The case became a symbol of the dangers of human error, the fragility of evidence, and the importance of never accepting the truth as absolute. In a crime that seemed like something out of an action movie, a pizza delivery guy was kidnapped and forced to rob a bank with a bomb strapped to his neck. The images of the crime, caught on security cameras, shocked the world. The bomb exploded in front of the bank, in a blast that shook the building and the peace of the community. The investigation revealed that the delivery guy wasn't an innocent victim, but an accomplice in the plan. He had gotten involved with criminals and agreed to take part in the robbery, believing he would get away with it. The case became a warning about the dangers of greed, naivety, and the belief that you can control the forces of crime. In a story that seems like a nightmare, a charming contestant on a dating show in the 1970s was hiding a terrifying secret. He wasn't just a regular contestant looking for love and fun. Behind his charming smile and captivating personality, there was a dark side that no one could imagine. His name was Rodney Alcala, and while he smiled for the cameras and won over the audience with his charisma, he carried the weight of multiple murders. Alcala was a cunning predator who used his charm to lure his victims, many of whom were young women. Alcala won the show, chosen by the contestant looking for love. However, what seemed like the beginning of a romance actually hid much more sinister intentions. Luckily, the date never happened. The contestant, for some reason, decided not to go through with the date, a decision that possibly saved her life. Photographs found in his possession showed women in bizarre poses, some of them already identified as murder victims. These disturbing images revealed the extent of his crimes and the cruelty with which he treated his victims. The discovery shocked the public and cast a shadow over the entertainment industry. People were horrified to learn that a serial killer had managed to infiltrate such a popular TV show. The Rodney Alcala case is a reminder that appearances can be deceiving, and that evil can hide in the most unexpected places. It makes us reflect on the true nature of people and the importance of always being vigilant. In 2009, a man vanished without a trace. He was an ordinary person with a seemingly normal life, which made his disappearance even more mysterious and disturbing for the local community. The police followed every lead, interviewed witnesses, and conducted extensive searches, but the case went cold with no answers. The authorities were baffled, and the missing man's family was left without answers, living through years of anguish and uncertainty. Years later, in a stroke of luck or unexpected help from technology, the truth came to light in an unusual way. A simple Google Maps user, while exploring satellite images, made a discovery that would change everything. A Google Maps user, browsing satellite images of a lake near where the man disappeared, noticed something strange: the silhouette of a car submerged in the dark water. The discovery was so surprising that he immediately contacted the authorities. The police were called, and to everyone's surprise, the car belonged to the man who had disappeared years earlier. Inside the vehicle, they found evidence that helped clarify what had happened on that fateful night. The case became a landmark in the history of criminal investigation, showing how technology can be a powerful tool in the search for truth. The discovery through Google Maps not only brought closure to the family, but also highlighted the importance of digital tools in solving old mysteries. In a case that shocked the world with its cruelty and wickedness, a story that seems straight out of a nightmare, a woman managed to escape from captivity where she was held prisoner for years, facing unimaginable suffering and a daily struggle for survival, living a true hell on earth. Each day was a battle against fear and despair. Her story of survival and courage revealed a web of horrors hiding behind the facade of an ordinary house. A house that at first glance seemed harmless. The victim told the police that there were other women trapped in that house, all living under constant terror and abuse, living under the control of a monster disguised as an ordinary man, a man who, to the neighbors, seemed normal. The investigation revealed a scene of terror and suffering. The details that emerged were disturbing. The kidnapper had created an environment of fear and absolute control, using cruel methods to keep his victims subdued, keeping his victims isolated from the outside world. They had no hope of escape. The case of the House of Horrors is a call for vigilance, to the importance of being aware of the signs of abuse, to reporting and the tireless fight against violence against women. It is a reminder that we must protect the most vulnerable and ensure that justice prevails. In a case full of irony and mystery, a man had the surreal experience of attending his own funeral. Presumed dead after an accident, his body was identified by family and friends, who said their goodbyes with grief and sorrow. However, days after the burial, the deceased reappeared, alive and well, to everyone's astonishment. The police exhumed the body that had been buried in the deceased's place, and discovered that it was an unknown man, whose identity remains a mystery to this day. The case of the man who attended his own funeral makes us question the fragility of life and the whims of fate. And so, we come to the end of our journey through the dark side of human nature. We've seen how seemingly simple crimes can hide unbelievable twists and turns, challenging our logic and making us question everything we thought we knew. Which one surprised you the most? Leave your opinion in the comments. And if you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel for more incredible stories like these. See you next time.